जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ
एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. You know, this is how you start shows. Sometimes you just look in one direction and you start laughing like you were having a conversation. But there is no conversation to be had. Because normally I have two friends with me. Today I only have one.
Well, hopefully my conversation is good enough for you.
No, but why did you presume that I said I have one friend and that one friend is you? Why can't it be Polly?
Ouch. Well, because I'm actually here. That's
Because you
why.
made the effort to be here, Lisa. And that's what is the most important for me. You made the effort to be here.
Thank you.
Right? Unlike somebody else who's just phoning it in all the way from Durban. Hello, Mr. Shaun Pollock.
Yeah, my plane was cancelled. I had my private plane all organised to come over.
You know what he's doing?
Bad weather.
You know what
We
he's
had to
doing?
cancel.
Why he's saying bad weather? Because my plane that I sent him, it's a small plane, right? So he's upset about that. So I get it. It's a low blow. I get it. It's fine. I'll send the 737 next time for one person. Forget global warming. Hi, I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Sthalekar and Shaun Pollock. The real reason why both of them can't be here together because there is a law against two Hall of Famers being in the same room. So that's why we have to separate them. Otherwise, too much energy, things explode, stuff happens. It's science-y, so you won't understand. Because I don't understand. Well, there are two teams who will try to understand their equations today. That's Rajasthan and Punjab. And their equations are kind of tricky. We'll show you the points table first to tell you why they need to do equations. Because, hey, if you just won your games, you wouldn't need to do this math, Lisa.
No, they've made it all very tricky for all of us. Though, about 7 teams still have a chance.
It's insane.
I know, it is insane. Though, a couple of them are feels like 1% chance of making it, but there's still a chance.
But there is a chance.
Yeah, there is a chance. And as we've seen in this IPL, we should not laugh at any possibilities that are thrown our way. So maybe Polly, because he's scenario.com, can take us through this.
First up, shout out to Pommy Mbangwa. Yeah? Don't laugh. And this Rajasthan team is also not laughing because they haven't played since that 112-run loss, which was on Sunday. They haven't played since then, so they've been hurting for a long time. Yes, Mr. Scenarios.com.
Yeah, we love this stage of the tournament, don't we? I mean, every single game counts. And, there's no dead rubbers this time around. Everyone's an important outing as they head into the positioning of where they want to end up. And, I mean, these two teams today, it's not really about net run rate. It's basically about trying to win. I mean, Punjab would have to win unbelievably to improve their net run rate. Is that going to happen? Well, I'm not too sure. I think they're just going to focus on trying to win and then hope that the scenarios work out for them. And then Rajasthan, I mean, their net run rate's only just behind. So they've also got to kind of just focus on the match and try and win it. Because if they win it, their net run rate will go up gradually. And then if RCB lose, their net run rate will come down, basically.
Did we lose
That's
Polly?
the only way that they
Did
can
we lose
get their
Polly?
quality.
Can you hear him? Can you hear him?
I can't.
I can't hear him. Oh, we lost him. That's what happens. I have a tripwire built into Cricbuzz Live. The moment somebody talks too much math, it actually just trips. Right? Which is why Joy and Harsha are silent on most of the show. They're constantly like, pi divided by alpha beta, sine cos theta. No, man. Here, Polly's broken down really simply. Both these teams need to win. Win first, then you'll figure out the rest. Well, Rajasthan, at least today, can't lose by a big margin like the last game. Why? Because they're chasing. They're going to be chasing. So, there you go. Now, Punjab is batting first because Sanju Samson won the toss. Now, Punjab have to score 180 and beat Rajasthan by 180 plus. Right? Score 180. It's not just 180 dot. Score 180 plus and beat Rajasthan by a big margin. And Rajasthan, if they set a target of 181, Rajasthan will have to chase it down in 18.3 overs or earlier to overtake RCB. Now, for Rajasthan, it's a lot more realistic.
Yeah, it is. And they want to ensure that they actually go ahead of RCB. It just gives them, from a net run rate point of view, just gives them that extra little buffer So they'll certainly be trying to ensure that they put themselves in that position to do that. I think, they should feel that they're the front runners against this contest, but they need to make sure that they have a good victory.
Yeah, Polly, the interesting thing is that, obviously conventional wisdom would say that, try to win the game, don't worry about when you need to win it. But at 18.3, that's not unrealistic, right? You can think, okay, this game is actually 9 balls, 12 balls lesser than any. So whatever our target is, 180, 190, we only have 18 overs to chase it. Go in thinking that it's an 18-over game. That's not too unrealistic.
Yeah. No, it isn't. And, you've got your strategic breaks as well. And I think those are the important times to be able to discuss things. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
You've got me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, that's just strategic breaks. I mean, even down to, it's as simple as your last delivery. Say you need 1 to win. If you whack a 6 off that last delivery, those extra 5 runs, they play a part. So all those will get down to the strategic break. But I think the key for these people, I know there are lots of scenarios, but you've got to set up that game. You've got to get yourself in a position to win and then try and take it from there. Even RCB last night, they would probably be a little bit disappointed at the way they finished because they could have done a little bit more for their net run rate. But I think
they
both
definitely
sides
could have
set
done a
up the
little
game
better
first.
yesterday, but Bangalore fans will look at us right now and say, but our king got 100.
Yeah.
What do you want? We don't want anything, man. We're just happy
Pointing
that
out these things.
Yes, we're just happy that cricket is being played. We're very happy that we're outscored 100. I mean, he is the GOAT for a reason, right? And now he's got the most number of hundreds. And I think it'll be a while before anybody can realistically eclipse him. But he'll tell you, he'll trade in all those hundreds, right, for a qualification spot at this point in time. Because that's just the kind of guy he is. We're also talking about a very special guy now, our man of platinum. That's right. Men of platinum are those who believe in, the great qualities. And today we are talking about Sanju Samson, because the quality we're talking about is there's a lot to choose there. Yeah, there's a lot to choose, but we'll stick with perseverance, because here's a guy who, Lisa, it's so interesting because he's been in and out of the Indian team, right? Doesn't get extended runs. Plays like a dozen T20s over like 3 years or something. And this Jan or Feb, it was his turn. It looked like he'd get a long rope, and then he gets injured himself, right? But when it comes to this tournament, being around a lot of teams, playing out of position sometimes, then coming back to captain this team, and then taking them to the final last year.
Yeah, there's a lot of great qualities about him, and even his story of how he, as a family, they had to move to Kerala just to give himself an opportunity to get into state cricket. But the IPL and Rajasthan have been good to him. And I find, in terms of a man of platinum, he's very loyal, he's very honest. So you talk about their last loss against the RCB. He came and I think the commentators asked, they were like, so where did it go wrong? He goes, I don't know, actually. I mean, it's all just happened. I need to kind of just assess it. So I like that honesty, and I think it's really important, someone that's leading and someone that wants to do well, has that type of personality and openness and honesty.
Polly, what do you think makes Sanju Samson the man of platinum, the quality that you like about him?
Yeah, I think he looks like he's a calm individual. To be a man of platinum, you have to be calm. But even the different challenges he's had to face and come out the other side, this journey that people go on as an international or RPL cricketer, it can be very challenging at times. You have to face the disappointment, sometimes moving from franchise to franchise, and then to eventually come out strong. None of the journeys are easy, but the key is to get him to the end of the journey and then finishing strong, and that's what he's done. And I think that's the key to him. But he does look pretty calm. We've seen a few moments where he's been a bit, a little bit upset with the proceedings. But in general, he's learned the art of, as he's matured, just to stay calm and keep things in perspective as he goes about his business. Yeah,
so that's Sanju Samson, our man of platinum. And today he will have to show all his mettle to take his team to the next level. He does have today an easier task, so to speak, easier math, easier calculation than the Punjab team does. But this is what he's done in this tournament. There you go, versus Punjab. He likes batting against them. He's got his highest score of 119 against them as well. The strike rate's good, the average is good. And today, Lisa, his team will need him because they're getting runs from Jaiswal. They haven't got too much from Joss Butler this season.
No, they haven't. And Sanju has actually played quite a mature inning, especially with Jaiswal. Whenever he's kind of had that opportunity to bat with him, I think he's actually guided him to the big scores that we've seen him. So he's actually played a crucial role, whether it be with the bat himself or just the conversations that he's had. But you talk about the runs. I mean, the last few innings, there's a 4, but a 66, 48, 30. He wants to be able to, and even before that, a couple of teens, he wants to convert that. And when you come up against a side that you know and you love and your numbers, there's happy memories. Yeah. So for him, I hope that he gets that opportunity to get out there and bat and then kind of go, yep, this is a team I love and enjoy. And we just see, you know, the Sanju Samson that needs to break into this Indian side and wants to do well, but he has to do well in this tournament right now.
Yeah, Punjab, of course, is going to be batting first, and they're playing in Dharamshala. That's their second home ground away from Mohali. And you know that this is kind of a pitch that can give you 200, 250, 300, 350. Perhaps some...
It's only 20 overs. It's only 20 overs.
I mean, the way the ball carries here, it's kind of crazy. I was doing the Hindi show on the previous game, and Virender Sehwag was the one who guessed. He said, I think they're going to get around 212. I'm like, oh, really? And sure enough, they did. So it does seem like a very batting-friendly pitch, this one. Who's Punjab taking in? Punjab, of course, lost their previous game to Delhi here, but they have decided to go with no change. Red on Prabh Simran Singh because they were chasing that day. So he comes in and they're going to get an impact sub. And who will come in as...
Nathan Ellis.
Nathan Ellis, yes, because they've got 3 planes. So the 4th one.
So no change, really.
Yeah. 5th plane is with Shaun Pollock. He hasn't returned mine yet. But yeah, so they're going to get Nathan Ellis there. But otherwise, Shikhar Dhawan, Prabh Simran Singh. Of course, Polly, the big discussion point last time was above Atharva Taide because he's obviously a very promising young talent. They had to retire him out last time because he just kind of got a little stuck. And when you get stuck, you just kind of clog the funnel for all the big hitters to come for Punjab.
Yeah, when you look at someone like a Livingston and what he can offer down the order, you can't afford to be clogged up. But that ground in particular, I mean, it's a bit like playing in Johannesburg, isn't it? I mean, with the altitude, the kind of a mishit just goes all the distance. And it's obviously a belter. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same surface. It's been such a quick turnaround that they're probably going to use that same pitch. So I would expect more from them the same. So the way everyone has to play today, they basically have to hammer it. They can't be afford to be plodding around. But what they do want, they want some more runs from Shikhar at the top of the order. Then you don't have to rely on number 3. You can just send Livingston, promote him, and look to play the same way he does. But Shikhar, we always talk about it, don't we? You know, messing with form. And when you're injured, and sometimes we saw him on the side of the field, he was smiling. He'd got his RPL off to a great start. But then all of a sudden you're back into the cauldron. And what happens? You average 20, 123. That's why they always say don't mess with form. And as players, we also get into that situation when people go, oh, no, well, you're playing well and we're ahead in the series. Let's just rest you. It's like, no. Don't mess with my form.
Yeah.
Do not rest me. I want to play. I want to keep scoring. I want to keep seeing the ball as big as a soccer ball.
Yeah, he, of course, got hurt, lost a few games and lost his touch as well. And they were really depending on him a lot. And today, if they want to get those 2 points, they want to go batting first. You know, great opportunity. Got out for 0 in the previous game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And it was a good time for him to kind of check in and say, just before we check out, let me check in before we check out.
Yeah, I think in these crucial matches when you're coming up to playoffs and then when you get to playoffs, but before that, you want your senior players to step up. And he's the skipper.
Yeah.
And you're right, he has performed really well at the start of the tournament, but he has to make sure that he switches on now. Now, the problem is that he's coming up on a ground in Dharamshala that suits the seam bowlers. He's probably got Bolt swinging the ball around. No, Bolt's not playing.
I will tell you then. Should I tell
sorry.
you? Because Rajasthan has decided to make how many changes? Stop me. 4! There you go. Devdutt Padikkal is back in the team, so obviously they're not playing Joe Root. Rayan Parag is back in the team, so no Dhruv Jurel. Then they've got Navdeep Saini. They had to get Trent Bolt in. Trent Bolt has missed the last 2 games, so they've got Trent Bolt back in. But does that mean that, wait, they're bowling first, so where's Ravi Ashwin?
Oh, he'll come.
No, they're
bowling.
bowling first, yeah. This is their bowling team.
So then, wow. Okay.
So where's Ash? Hello, hello.
Interesting.
Somebody made a mistake.
Well,
Yeah, we're all perplexed, aren't we?
Rian Parag as well. Like, okay.
Yeah, I don't. All right, Polly, we'll just give it to you. Maybe maybe you see it better from South Africa.
Did Paddy Go play in the last game? Or why has he got that?
He played in the last game. He came
He
in
was
as
the
an
impact
impact
sub.
player.
But they,
Okay.
So he's in the team today, and they're chasing. So he could have come in as an impact player today as well. So
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Ashwin must be injured. Must have
Ash is
something wrong.
injured. Yes, we've just got.
Well,
news.
let's just. Oh,
Yeah,
he
just
is?
got news that he has
I was like,
illegal.
let's just make that up. Let's start that rumor.
Yeah, but it's true. You know what they say? Sometimes if you start a rumor, it just turns out to be true. Like, have you heard me about me being the next James Bond? Did you guys hear that? No, nobody.
No one.
Yeah.
No one.
Somebody?
Yeah,
Don't even say yes,
Yeah.
Polly.
Send my plane back, Polly. You do not deserve to sit in it. Yeah, but there's a few
But I
changes
think-
there.
Yeah, I like the team. I think the key, I mean, even talking about Chika in the start, he needs to get off to. The first 3 or 4 overs, you have to be a little bit watchful on that ground, because once you've got yourself in, you can really make opposition pay. But you've got to be a little bit selective about, because we saw the movement in the last game from both the bowlers. Some nice shape through the air because of, obviously, the altitude. It's the same as the Wanderers. The ball tends to swing around. No Joe Root. Padikkal comes back in. I don't know. I was actually thinking about him the other day. I reckon, just slightly off topic, but I think he needs to be transferred to Sunrisers. I think he needs to go back at the top
He
of the
needs to
order for
open,
Sunrisers.
yeah.
So watch this space. I think that could be a move in the off season, because he hasn't settled into that middle order, and I think he's better settled to up front. But I like the look of that bowling attack. Sani back in. We have to see how he goes, whether he can produce some. But Bolt, for me, I'm really happy that he's going to be having the opportunity to see what movement we can get.
Yeah, Sunrisers will have a lot of money at the mini auction the end of the year, early next year. That's my prediction. They will. Trust me. Trust me on this. Watch this space, as we said. But Trent Bolt, geez, he is one of the joyous sights in world cricket.
Yeah.
When he comes in with a new ball.
Except if you're the opening batter up.
Exactly. And then you get out soon, and then you go to the dugout, and he's a joyous sight again, right? Because you're watching. But just what he does, if there's that swing, that shape he gets on the ball, it's just so, it's delightful to watch.
Yeah, and it causes both right and left-handers problems. Normally, sometimes it's just the one side that causes, but he can blow off your front pad if you're a right-hander, and then you've got the edge and the nick, which, you know, given that Shikhar Dhawan went that same way, that's why I was like, oh, him and Trent Bolt, that's a good matchup in that sense for Rajasthan more than Punjab. So, you know, he's got that ability. He's so consistent. He knows his skill set. He now just shops himself around in these franchises, and he still does a great job.
Yeah, he's bowled, I think, the second, the most number of maidens up front as the first over maidens. He also ends up getting first over wickets, and that's gold for a captain, for a bowling captain. And Paulie, your read on him as an opening bowler and just what he can do with that new ball. And today conditions will be helpful. He's bowling up front. You know, there's a Shikhar over there who, you know, the ball could leave him. You know, he'll have a slip in for him in the first over. It'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting battle.
Yeah, there's always a limited time on these T20 matches, particularly with the ball and how quickly it kind of loses its ability to swing. You've got that little window period where you can be effective, and he's one of those guys who doesn't miss his areas. You know, he's very accurate. There's movement through the air. He knows his plans to left-handers, right-handers, and he's just been sublimely impressive for a long period of time. I mean, I was very surprised that Mumbai ended up not holding on to him because of the job he had done for them. And I'm looking for him to be really good. But more importantly, what's happened to my boy, KG? I mean,
You tell us what's going on.
Yeah, you tell us what's happening to KG.
You know, okay. I'll give you a theory on it, right? If you remember, he rocked up, and when he was available, they didn't pick him. I think it was 1, maybe 2 games.
Yeah.
And sometimes these superstars, you know, you got to show them a bit more care factor.
Really? Okay.
You know, a little bit more pampering. You know, just
I like care factor.
You know, you're a valuable man. I mean, how else can we explain this away?
Okay, so here's the
23 wickets
thing.
last
I'll tell you what they
18
did.
games.
I feel like, so Ellis did well when Rabada was in South Africa. He comes and then they just got confused between the two, right? So it was Ellis and Rabada and Ellis and Rabada. That way, when you look at Lucknow, you say at least they had clarity. They said, we've had Kyle Mayers has done well. Quentin de Kock has come. But obviously there's a conversation where you say, all right, you got to sit out till this guy...
Sit on ice for us.
Sit on ice, but it's clear, right? So it's not like they brought QDK for one game and then got Kyle back.
Yeah,
and
true.
So I think that's where maybe Punjab missed a trick, Polly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter how experienced you are or what a rock star you are. If you kind of, well, we're not going to play you, you're not quite of enough starting 11, it can have an impact. And, you know, then they can get into the attitude of, oh, well, you know, when I play kind of thing, rather than feel like they're the real force or they're the real one that you're relying on. So I don't know if that's happened. I mean, you can see the year before. So 2021, he was a little bit average, KG, and then he came back strong. And then, you know, he's had a bit of, 5 wickets in 5 matches at an average of basically 40. Strike rate kind of double what he was last year, and economy rate worse than it's been ever in any season that he's played. So, yeah, he definitely hasn't been himself, KG. And it would be interesting to get into the camp and have an understanding as to why. But that's the theory, I reckon. Needed a bit more care factor around it.
I was going to say, when they are rock stars and they're normally first picked in every side, and then you kind of rock up a little bit late, and we've seen this in the IPL because you open the door for someone, right?
Correct.
And if you haven't got a strong management or strong understanding of your best playing 11, or you give whoever comes in late one opportunity that they don't go well, you're like, oh, we'll go back to what has been working well.
Yeah.
So I reckon the rock stars are a little bit harder. The ones that are always on the fringe, they're kind of used to being in and out, in and out, in and out. But the ones that are always selected, it is a real shock to the system. Yeah, it's what, I've got to run drinks? Oh, this sucks. You know,
and not these drinks.
So I mean, it does take its toll. And you're right. I think probably a little bit more care needs to be given to those type of players because they're normally the man to do the job.
For the sure picks, or otherwise just have that conversation saying, you're going to sit a few games out. Till the guy who took your place and did well, kind of his rope runs out and then you come in. But this whole one game in, one game out, one game, it just probably doesn't work. It hasn't worked for Rabada, definitely. I don't know, maybe he turns it around. I remember a couple of years ago when Delhi decided to retain Nokia over... Actually, we should get Polly's point of view from what South Africa cricket thought of that. Because Nokia and Rabada are bowling together for Delhi. Delhi has one slot to fill with an international pace bowler. They retain Nokia and don't retain Rabada. I remember people, at least in India, were quite shocked because at that time, obviously Rabada was in much better form, more experience, and peak of his powers more than Nokia back then.
Yeah, I mean, KG's always really been the premier fast bowler for South Africa. But I think just the extra pace that Nokia brought to the party. I mean, KG hovers around 140. It was those 155 deliveries that Nokia was delivering that I think that was what they really liked, maybe the slightly more X factor. But as far as consistency goes, whenever he's put on a shirt for the green and gold, you know, he's been unbelievable for us. So it was a bit of a surprise that he was put back into the auction. But we actually thought the strategy was, well, whatever they have to pay, they'll get him back. And they didn't want to make sure that they didn't lose Nokia. But they didn't get him back. And it was a little bit of a surprise.
But for you, whatever you've seen in the 5 games of Rabada, where do you think he needs to correct? Do you think his line, his length, just the areas he's bowling? What did you make of it?
Yeah, sometimes it's also interesting to have a look at game plans and wonder why certain fields are set and what you're trying to do at that moment in time. I think the simplicity of the power play is sometimes they don't give him enough of a role. You know, he's got that ability up front. You know, at the back end, people can disappear. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a particular day, you can be put under the pump. But I think the mindset of using him as a strike bowler and whenever there's an opportunity to maybe run through or pick up a couple of wickets to get him back then, I think that's what he thrives on rather than trying to be the workhorse. Where he just bowls his overs at different times.
Yeah, they've been using Sam Curran. Punjab has been using Sam Curran up front. sometimes it also becomes, it's not paycheck. Don't grudge anybody the money they make, but it's also the one that you've gone after the hardest.
Yeah.
You want to fit them in first and give them the most chance to succeed, and then you're putting other people out of position, just like Hyderabad did with Harry Brook, right? Change everybody's position to kind of slot him in somewhere, and then finally just dropped him. So you can tell when there's a little confusion in your 11, I guess it shows on the points table. All right, there's no confusion about how good Jos Buttler is with bite ball cricket. I mean, just look at his previous season. That orange cap, no contender. Right? It was 400s last season. But this season, he's having the same problem that Shikhar is having, the opener with the opposing team today, which is he started off good, and then it has just gone what I like to call, in technical cricket language, ow, wow, 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 wow.
That's very technical.
There you go.
Yeah.
I got it from Wisden.
But see, if you look back to 2022, after, those 300s, the last 5 games was 22, 30, 7, 2, 2 before we got into qualifiers, and then he stepped up.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he just has a little nap.
Snooze mode. We've all done snooze mode. Hey.
Yeah. So I don't know whether it's exhausting, tiring. Obviously, it's hard work travelling around. I get all of that. And I was talking I think a few days ago with Joy about potentially sending a player away with his family just to have a real break from this 2 months, just to kind of just reboost, recharge, and away you go, because it seems to be a pattern for Buttler at the moment. They just need to qualify and then he's flying, right?
Yeah.
But they actually need him to play really well tonight as well. So let's hope he can turn it on, because he certainly hasn't had the year that he did last year.
Yeah.
But there is a pattern that is occurring.
I mean, today if they have to chase it in 18.3, they'll need Buttler to check in. Jaiswal's been in good form. They'll need Sanju to do that job as well. So they'll have to do that. But here's the point as well, Polly. It is hot, right? I mean, it's 45 degrees out there. This little English boy coming and playing and hitting all these big knocks and getting dehydrated. We saw Klaasen yesterday. I felt that he would leave the ground in a bucket. Like he was just liquid by the end of it.
He was.
Yeah, it can be challenging. I just think from his perspective is it's almost got to a stage, you get a few good deliveries, you get yourself out in some odd fashion. I mean, he's had those 2 deliveries I can think of in particular, where he kind of ran it down to third man straight to the guy's hands and then tried to hit a short, wide one and hit it straight to point. And you kind of end up thinking about it. And he's one of those guys who just plays his best when he's just smashing. And, when you start to fail, you think, oh, what I should do? Should I absorb a few balls? Should I have a look-see? And then you're not in that kind of positive frame of mind. And I just think that's where he's at. But both of these guys, Shikhar and him today, I think if you want to get it right, this is the ground. If you can get to those first 3 or 4 overs, and that ball stops swinging around, and then you can start to unleash. This is definitely the opportunity to put anything to rest with regards to form and smash it the way we saw Livingston the other day.
It is the closest that Jos will get to a nice English summer's day, right? So today may just be the day that you get served. Yes, Punjab, gets served by the Buttler magic. All right, we have a little magic here as well. It's called the joy factor question. And I say magic is because I read it and it disappears from my head. Boom, it's gone. Let's show you what it is today. Which player scored 9 runs in 3 matches in the last season he played in this tournament, but is the highest run scorer for his franchise this season with over 400 runs? Okay, this is easy. Just got to look at 10 names.
True.
There you go. I can actually crack this one. Finish the show so I...
But you've got to be the quickest.
I could rig the results in my favor. I got a guy who can do this for me, okay? No problem. Send in your answers, hashtag Cricbuzz Live on Twitter. I think we've already got a few. I think people just know these stats so well. We, of course, know this ground well because we have seen 1 game here in the last 10 years. So our guesses are going to be... We know it. We know it all. Listen, man, you're talking to a guy who doesn't even need to see 1 game in 10 years to go guessing. And I'm going to say, okay, well, we'll let Lisa go first because she's my friend. She made an effort to show up here today. So you go first.
203.
203. Nice guess. Go on. Polly?
I was I was going to go 207, but that's too close to Lisa. So
We all were in that zone, you know. We were all going 200 and change.
yeah, okay, I'll go 210, 210.
210. Right, then I'll have to go a little lower then, I guess. 194. That's it. 194. 194, 203, 210. Maybe I'll go 183.
No, there's a wicket.
Yeah.
I know how you work.
Insider trading.
Yes.
That's right. I'm going to go because they've come to arrest me now. Now I'm going to stick with 194 because एक बार भाई ने commitment कर दी तो भाई खुद की भी नहीं सुनता. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over. No, that's serious. That's also a commitment. We'll see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. So do join us then. Want to thank Shaun Pollock for making minimal effort to show up, but of course making maximum effort with his insights. So thank you so much, Polly. Send my plane back. And of course to Lisa Sthalekar. My real job begins now to find her a good chicken burger somewhere in this city. So I'm going to do that now.
Thank you.
That's going to be done. And you... do whatever you want for 10 overs. See you at the Combox. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live. Bye-bye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दो